Everybody, I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. Let's see. I have been um, tired today. Well, I've been tired a lot lately, if I'm being completely honest. And I'm like, yo, I need some energy. So I've been taking those, what are they called? B12 pills. But listen, it has not been helpful to me. For some reason, I cannot get to what I'm looking for, and I don't know why. I don't know what mirror my camera means, but let me see if I can go ahead and see you guys. So I can see y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Um, heard it all before. Okay, so I wanted to come on here because I watched this documentary on. I was meaning to put this in the description. Um, but I was watching this video on Culture Spill. It's pretty much a documentary of the history of what's his name, Diddy, and it's really interesting to me. I know lots of people have moved on and they don't really care, and lots of people feel like he wasn't, whatever he did was just, oh, that was just, excuse me, just him being freaky, or like lots of people felt like it was Cassie's fault, or Cassie was a part of it, or whatever it was. And it's sickening to me that I wouldn't give a shit if she was a part of it. That people can make excuses for this savage behavior. I'm just saying, put yourself in Sis's shoes. What are your options? Just saying, but people feel how they feel. And so, but at any rate, I'm bringing that up because I just knew nothing about all of the Diddy madness. Not one iota for all of those years. I didn't know anything until about, I feel like it was maybe a year before Cassie dropped her lawsuit. I watched this lady, Sloan Bella. She did a like a 3-part series on Kim Porter, who has either 2 or 3 kids with P Diddy, and she died, I believe, at 47 years old from allegedly some sort of pneumonia. So once I started watching those documentaries, then I was kind of like, yo, this is crazy. And it kind of went down a rabbit hole a little bit with all her, she has a lot of like, what they call energetic readings or something. But at any rate, once I watched that, and then literally seemed like maybe a year later is when Cassie's lawsuit dropped. So that's when I was like, yo, right? Like this lady predicted this shit. I mean, not exactly, but almost. I was like, yo, that's crazy. She even predicted that he was going to have something coming up in March, which is when they raided his house. So I'm just saying, she has a. I think you guys should just for entertainment purposes go and subscribe to her channel, and or at least go over there and watch some of her videos about your favorite artists or actors or singers or whatever, because she does those types of things, and she's seemingly pretty accurate in my opinion. But I want to get started on this video that I wanted to share with you guys about the unveiling of Sean Puffy P Diddy, Puff Daddy, Shitty Diddy, Brother Love, whatever name he has for himself. I wonder what name he's going to give himself when he gets out of prison. I wonder how long he'll be in prison. Y'all tell me in the comments what y'all think. Do y'all think? Because I have a hard time believing he even going to prison now. At first, I was like, maybe if they get him on the racketeering, but since they didn't get him on that, I don't see how he's gonna. I don't know what the judge. It depends on the judge. Because if the judge is anything like the judge that denied his bail again, what he wrote in his findings or whatever it was, that notation to the attorneys for him to get bail, yeah, he or she does nothing but the house with Diddy in any way, and probably thinks he needs to be under the jail like everybody else with the brain. But at any rate, let's go ahead and jump in. Oh, I need to push play. Hit that like and subscribe button. Have a good day, or good day, Lord Jesus. Have a good night, you guys.
God's light comes through. My life don't work like that. I can make anything happen. My life has been a action movies, gangster films, romantic comedies, horror stories. Savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get! Yes, I gotta get it. I'm not gonna stay down. I'm not gonna stay down. I'm not. I can't do it, man. I can't do that.
Hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs is in custody this morning after being detained overnight by federal authorities in New York. According to a person familiar with the situation, Combs was caught off guard by his arrest in the lobby of the Park Hyatt Hotel, where he'd been living for several weeks.
Today, I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct.
Right. Gotta keep them there. Right. You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
yeah.
Rock with me, but just check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning. Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose.
If you have pink salt, apple cider vinegar, and baking soda in your kitchen, and you're not using this recipe.
Would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected.
From a background dancer to one of the most powerful moguls in hip-hop.
This is what the music industry is all about!
To a wild predator.
Trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, among other crimes.
Sean Diddy Combs is a name that will go down in history as one of the most disturbing examples of what happens when a twisted mind gets immense wealth and unchecked power. A man who was known as Love,
I had become Love,
is now called the Black Epstein.
He's been called the Jeffrey Epstein of the rap world. And in fact, he is facing some similar charges because now Sean Diddy Combs is sitting in jail preparing to face off against prosecutors in the same court.
You feel I lived an extravagant life and I make no apologies for it. I'm free as a mother.
Since the 90s, we've been hearing stories about Diddy's deranged behavior.
I could do anything.
And yet, despite the seriousness of all these allegations, Diddy somehow managed to protect himself from criminal investigation for years.
On separate coasts. Some even speculated Combs was involved in Tupac's death. He denies that.
It was hurtful, extremely hurtful. When I lost Kim, it broke my heart forever. So then I was just like, I just wanted to turn it into something positive.
Long before Cassie's explosive lawsuit dropped, our channel had been sounding the alarm about Diddy and all the allegations surrounding him. For a long time, we've reported on the rumors of Diddy preying on young people in the industry with the help of other, even more powerful individuals. But it felt like every time people tried to shed light on the darkness, nobody really paid attention. Well, let's just say Diddy's influence runs deep.
The bad boy of entertainment is getting the key to the city.
But now the powers that be are done protecting him, and it's time to confront the truth.
I can't send none of y'all Meek Mills, y'all Puffies, y'all Lil Boozy, none of these names, none of these people that have to listen to y'all because they have legal. I never nobody, right? I'm the pussy that never nobody, right? But that means I can say whatever I want and not go to jail. And even if they did figure out a way, I'm still not backing down from what I said. You know, out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize.
Allegations of SADV, coercive control, forced freak-offs, victimization of individuals as young as 9, to his alleged involvement in the murders of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls, all this is now part of the public record. And this documentary will expose not just Diddy and his deviant crimes, but also those who have supported or enabled him in his sick and twisted acts.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
We'll also talk about how many celebrities have hinted at Diddy's predatory behavior over the years, but those comments were often dismissed as jealousy or industry gossip. People like Jaguar Wright and Cat Williams, who made claims about bizarre rituals and exploitation within Hollywood, were mocked and ridiculed, with people accusing them of tearing down a successful black man.
What's happening, Puff? I'll be back to you if JD ain't had enough. Yeah. Jermaine Dupri, king of the files, if you ask me, baby.
Cat Williams, Jaguar Wright, Kanye West, and Wendy Williams have been trying to expose Diddy's reign of terror, but for years, their warnings were largely dismissed as celebrity drama. It's almost as if the clues have been right in front of us, but the industry has continuously chosen to look the other way. After all, we all know the Hollywood elite often protect their own. But just as Cat Williams predicted in his January 2024 Club Shay Shay interview,
up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
Every lie will be brought to light, and the collapse of Diddy's dark empire has officially begun. Diddy is now being compared to the infamous predator and rumored intelligence asset Jeffrey Epstein, who allegedly ran a massive blackmail operation. What history has shown us time and time again is that no one is too big to fall, and Diddy's power has officially run out. Get ready, because in this video, we're taking a deep dive into all the disturbing allegations and separating truth from fiction about the deserved downfall of Sean Diddy Combs.
This new lawsuit just came out that shows tons of evidence that P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, has been running a blackmail operation very much like Jeffrey Epstein, but in the rap and music industry for basically 30 years.
This documentary is not just about Diddy. It's about a culture that allows such predatory behavior to thrive. So stay tuned, because the truth is far more twisted than you ever imagined.
When I die, I want my last words to be, I did it. I did it.
The making of a psychopath. Sean Combs was born on November 4th, 1969 in Harlem, New York City. Now, Harlem has always been a breeding ground for hustlers, dreamers, and survivors, and Diddy's upbringing was no exception. His mother, Janice Combs, juggled roles as a model and teacher's assistant, although rumor has it that Janice was also involved in some other shady business. Meanwhile, Diddy's father, Melvin Earl Combs, had deep ties to the underground world of New York's criminal elite. Allegedly, he had connections to Frank Lucas, the notorious kingpin whose life was immortalized in the Denzel Washington film American Gangster. But things took a dark turn in 1972 when Melvin was mysteriously shot and killed at just 33 years old. He was found dead, slumped in a car on Central Park West. And what's even more chilling is that there's been speculation that Melvin wasn't just another casualty of New York's streets. Rumor has it that he might have been taken out for being a police informant and snitching on his own crew. This early exposure to violence and secrecy seems to foreshadow the allegations we're seeing now with Diddy, a mother who allegedly used her pageant business to procure women for wealthy clients and may have even engaged in her own freak-offs in front of Diddy, and a father caught in the dangerous game of deception, betrayal, and power struggles. These themes followed Diddy's own rise to power in the music industry.
It's a dream come true for, especially a young black kid, Mount Vernon, Harlem. Like, this is it right here. I love it.
Before Sean Diddy Combs became the mogul we know today, he was just another kid navigating the streets of New York, but also dealing with the trauma of losing his father and the pressures of living in Harlem. But he didn't stay an ordinary kid for long. Diddy attended Mount St. Michael Academy, a Catholic high school in the Bronx. Some sources have even speculated that Diddy was touched during his time as an altar boy at his local Catholic church, which may have triggered his disturbing behavior. According to one TikTok user, Diddy was an altar boy at Mount St. Academy around the time Reverend Lynch was accused of some despicable crimes by one of their students. Now, going back to Diddy's high school days, he was actually a standout football player, and he helped lead his team to a division title back in 1986. But football was just one side of young Diddy. Off the field, he was known for his temper. His childhood friends named him Puff because whenever he got mad, he would literally huff and puff like he was a ticking time bomb ready to explode. You've got to wonder if that early aggression, that unchecked ego, was a warning sign of the more dangerous persona he was starting to craft behind the scenes. After graduating high school, Diddy took a brief detour, enrolling at Howard University to pursue a business degree. Even back in college, Diddy's reputation wasn't just built on ambition, but on something a bit wilder: his infamous parties. These weren't just your average college ragers. Diddy was pulling in thousands of people, packing venues beyond capacity, and showing off his knack for controlling a crowd. It's no surprise that this caught the attention of industry figures, and allegedly, one of his legendary parties is where he met his mentor, Andre Harrell, the founder of Uptown Records. This was the moment that set everything in motion. So after just 2 years, he dropped out of college to fully focus on turning the dreams of making a name for himself in the entertainment industry into a reality. In 1990, Andre Harrell gave Diddy his first real shot in the music industry, hiring him as an intern at Uptown. Diddy climbed the ranks fast, becoming a talent director. But even then, there was this sense that Diddy wasn't just aiming for success. He was aiming for total domination. And word on the street is that his rise wasn't just the product of hard work and luck. Allegedly, Diddy started getting mixed up with some shady figures in the industry, the kind of people who promise unlimited wealth and power. But power like that doesn't come without a price. According to long-standing rumors and conspiracy theories, that price wasn't just paid with hard work. Some claim that Diddy was involved in what's known in certain circles as a blood sacrifice, the first sacrifice. While working as an intern at Uptown Records, Diddy wasn't just making a name for himself in the boardroom. He was also building his reputation as a party promoter on the streets. And even back then, his ambition seemed abnormal. He allegedly had this notorious rep for packing events beyond capacity, and it wasn't long before his reckless habit led to an unspeakable tragedy. On December 28, 1991, Diddy, alongside Heavy D, organized what was supposed to be a high-profile AIDS fundraiser, a basketball game at City College in Harlem. The event was meant to raise money and awareness, drawing a large crowd eager to see their favorite stars. But what no one could have predicted was the sheer chaos that would unfold that night. According to a report from The Source magazine, the gym was only meant to hold about 2,700 people. But by the time the game was set to begin, over 3,000 people were trying to cram into the space. The doors had been locked, creating a bottleneck of people desperately pushing forward to get inside. The crowd surged, and what began as excitement quickly turned into panic. And what happened next was pure tragedy. 9 people were trampled to death in the stampede, including 15-year-old Jabal Rainey, the youngest of the victims. Another heartbreaking loss was the pregnant girlfriend of rapper Father MC, who was signed to Diddy's Uptown Records at the time.
A few times I thought I was going to pass out because it was hot on that staircase. You know what I'm saying? And when they closed the doors, I knew something was going down.
City College was a deep experience for me. I was there, I was on the floor, I watched people take their last breath, regurgitate, and die.
Okay, you said a female? Yeah, a female. A asthma? Is she had an asthma attack? She passed out unconscious.
Now here's where things get even more sinister. Gene Deal, a man who would later become one of Diddy's personal bodyguards, was working security at City College that night. In interviews, Gene has openly talked about how he saw the warning signs before the tragedy struck. He claims he tried to warn Diddy, urging him to hire more security to clear the entrance because the crowd was getting out of control. But according to Gene, Diddy brushed off his concerns, telling him not to worry about it.
I told Puff right then and there, I say, Puff, if they don't do a boxing one outside and get these kids off the door, somebody gonna tonight. He said, Gene, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You just handle the stars once they come inside.
So why didn't this incident destroy Diddy's career? Why did the industry turn a blind eye to the tragedy and allow him to continue his meteoric rise? Think about it. 9 people died, and yet Diddy's career didn't skip a beat. In fact, he only seemed to rise higher and faster. It's almost as if something or someone was protecting him from the fallout. While the City College tragedy made headlines at the time, it's surprising how quickly it was swept under the rug.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform.
And this is why some believe that the City College incident wasn't just a tragic accident, but part of something darker, a sacrifice made to ensure his path to power, wealth, and success in Hollywood. In the same interview where Gene talked about how he tried to warn Diddy that the situation at City College Gym was getting out of control, he also mentioned that Diddy's partner at the time, Jessica Rosenblum, was present at the scene that night. Now, Jessica wasn't just any associate. She was one of the key figures helping Diddy build his empire in those early days.
They got trapped downstairs through the second door because Jessica had got scared. That was Puffy partner at the time, Jessica Rosenberg. She got scared, ran downstairs with the money box and shut the door behind her. And all those people got shut down in there and got trapped.
Jessica Rosenblum was one of the first influential female party promoters in the hip-hop scene during the early 90s. Though she kept much of her private life under wraps, she was widely regarded as the brains behind Diddy's notorious white parties, which he began hosting in the early 2000s. These extravagant events became the stuff of legend, but there's a darker side to Jessica's story. Many conspiracy theories have circulated, suggesting that Rosenblum might have been involved in some kind of secret Hollywood society, helping to pull strings behind the scenes. Now, what's even more intriguing is that at the time, there was only one other high-profile female hip-hop promoter in New York City, Maria Davis. In a 2015 interview with Vibe magazine, Maria dropped some interesting comments about Jessica, comments that have only fueled speculation about Jessica's deeper involvement in the industry's elite circles. Maria told Vibe, "You're always nervous trying to get people through the door, and back then, I was the only Black female promoter. There was nobody else doing it the way I was doing it. It was just me and Jessica Rosenblum. Puffy, Russell Simmons, and all of them used Jessica. They used her, and God used me." So the fact that Maria specifically said that God used her, while others like Jessica Rosenblum were used by darker forces, sounds like she was trying to imply that Jessica was associated with something sinister. And many listeners took it as Maria accusing people like Diddy and Russell Simmons of selling their souls to the dark side. Now, when Vibe pushed Maria to clarify what she meant by that, her response was even more unsettling. She hinted that Jessica was deeply connected to some of the most powerful figures in the music industry, specifically Lear Cohen, a man often referred to as hip-hop's evil puppet master. Maria told Vibe, Jessica Rosenblum was very good friends with Russell Simmons and then Lear, so where I had to fight for Mad Wednesday, they didn't have to fight, they got it easy. At the time of the 1991 City College stampede, Diddy was still a relative unknown, but as his fame skyrocketed, disturbing theories began to surface.
Says that Combs is a good kid who deserves all the success he's achieved in '92, despite its dismal beginning. Recently, Combs was promoted to vice president.
People started to speculate that the tragic stampede, where 9 lives were lost, might have been some kind of ritual sacrifice to prove Diddy's loyalty to the industry's power players in exchange for fame and fortune. Fast forward to 2021, and the comparisons between Diddy's reactions to the stampede and Travis Scott's response to the Astroworld crowd crush started raising eyebrows. Both events resulted in multiple deaths, and in both cases, the artists brushed off the tragedy like it was just another day. What makes this even creepier is a blind item that claims Diddy was completely unaffected by the stampede. Allegedly, while the victims were rushed to the hospital, Diddy stayed behind to count his cash, showing zero emotion or remorse.
I found interesting was that the people who were helping Diddy with the event found him counting his cash in one of the back rooms after the 9 children had been taken to the hospital. He denies this, of course, but multiple people have said that they saw him with their own eyes. Very interesting, right? Very, very interesting. Now, if you were hosting an event where 9 children were just rushed to the hospital and later went on to pass away, why would you be in a back room focused on your money unless you were the devil in the flesh?
After the tragic stampede, several wrongful death and personal injury lawsuits were filed. But surprisingly, no criminal charges were ever brought against Diddy or any of the event's organizers. This disaster is said to have been one of the key reasons Andre Harrell fired Diddy from Uptown Records. But as always, Diddy was one step ahead. In 1993, Diddy launched Bad Boy Entertainment in partnership with Arista Records and quickly signed Christopher Wallace, better known as Notorious B.I.G. or Biggie Smalls. This move marked the beginning of Diddy's rise to the top, but it also opened the door to even darker dealings. And this brings us to another set of disturbing allegations about Diddy, linking him to the violent deaths of Biggie and his rival Tupac Shakur. Bloody rise to power.
Who's that, Biggie? Oh, that's just fake.
Diddy and Biggie Smalls first crossed paths in 1992 after Diddy took notice of Biggie following a feature in the Source magazine. Biggie's raw talent and street credibility immediately caught Diddy's eye, leading to a connection that would shape the future of hip-hop. Around this time, Biggie was also growing close with Tupac Shakur, the West Coast's rising star. Their friendship wasn't just professional. Biggie and Tupac were tight. They would hang out together when Tupac was visiting New York or Biggie was out in LA. But everything changed on November 30th, 1994, during an infamous incident at Quad Recording Studios in Manhattan. Tupac was ambushed and shot 5 times in the lobby of the studio. He survived, but the attack shattered his trust, especially in Biggie and Diddy. According to Tupac, not only did the shooters have ties to Diddy's camp, but he believed Biggie knew about the attack and failed to warn him. It was a deep betrayal in Tupac's eyes. Biggie,
What happened?
on the other hand, repeatedly denied any knowledge of the ambush. What made things even more suspicious was that both Biggie and Diddy were inside the same building when the incident happened. But their reactions couldn't have been more different. While Biggie seemed shocked, Diddy reportedly stayed calm, almost too relaxed for the situation. The infamous East Coast and West Coast feud escalated rapidly after the incident. What started as a rap beef turned into a deadly rivalry, culminating in the of Tupac in September 1996.
Tupac was 25 years old.
And Biggie in March 1997. And despite countless investigations and theories, both remain officially unsolved.
Remained unsolved for nearly 30 years.
But for many hip-hop fans, Diddy's name has been quietly but consistently linked to the tragedies, especially when it comes to Biggie's untimely death. Let's fast forward to March 8th, 1997, just one day before Biggie's Diddy and Biggie were in Los Angeles, attending a Soul Train Awards after-party hosted by Vibe magazine at the Peterson Automotive Museum. The atmosphere was tense, with rumors of West Coast hostility circulating. But Diddy didn't seem too concerned. It's been reported that the night before Biggie was down, Diddy and his entourage, including Biggie, were living it up like nothing could touch them. The party was shut down because of overcrowding, forcing Biggie and his crew to leave in 2 Chevy Suburbans. Biggie sat in the front passenger seat, accompanied by 2 others. Meanwhile, Diddy traveled in a separate vehicle with 2 bodyguards, and the security director of Bad Boy Records followed closely behind in a Chevy Blazer. As Biggie's SUV approached a red light about 50 yards from the Peterson Automotive Museum, a black Chevy Impala pulled up next to Biggie's vehicle. The window rolled down, and the driver pulled out a gun. In an instant, shots rang out, and Biggie was hit 4 times. The group immediately rushed Biggie to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where surgeons worked frantically to save his life. But despite their best efforts, at 1:15 a.m., Biggie Smalls was pronounced dead.
Rap artist Notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace was shot early Sunday morning and later died of gun.
He was only 24 years old, and almost immediately the speculation began. Some industry insiders pointed fingers at Diddy, speculating that he had pressured to travel to LA just months after Tupac's despite the clear tension between the East Coast and West Coast rap scenes. Around that time, there were also rumors that Biggie was planning to leave Bad Boy Records after discovering that Diddy had allegedly been stealing from him. And some sources claimed that Biggie and Tupac had squashed their beef before Tupac's death and were planning to start their own label, leaving Diddy completely out of the picture. In his first interview following Biggie's death, Diddy was quick to deny any claims of a financial dispute. He also refused to speculate on the motive behind the shooting. But his body language while talking about Biggie's death only fueled more speculation. These rumors didn't die down. They only grew louder with time. The streets and hip-hop fans alike have been questioning Diddy's role in not just Biggie's death, but also the larger conspiracy surrounding the East Coast-West Coast feud. Many fans believe Diddy used Biggie's death to cement his place in the industry. After all, just months later, Diddy's music career took off, riding the wave of Biggie's posthumous success. While many people assumed that Suge Knight, the infamous CEO of Death Row Records, orchestrated Biggie's as revenge for Tupac's death, people also wondered if Diddy knew about the plan all along and simply let it unfold. In an article published by Rolling Stone in December 2005, it was reported that Diddy not only refused to cooperate with the investigation, but also allegedly urged his Bad Boy Records employees to do the same. Biggie's mother, Valletta Wallace, also voiced her distrust of the police, hinting at a web of corruption within the LAPD. She implied that key evidence related to her son's death was concealed, and she also revealed that Biggie never fully trusted Diddy. Valletta wrote in her memoir, "I believe Sean loved my son after he was dead. I used to tell Christopher all the time not to trust Sean." Biggie reportedly had no intention of being in Los Angeles the night he was especially given the heightened risks following Tupac's tragic death just 6 months earlier. According to Kirk Burroughs, a former executive at Bad Boy Records, Biggie was actually slated to head off on an international press tour in London that very day. But Diddy called him and insisted that he stay in LA instead.
He was supposed to leave that early morning, go to London, and we would be out there for 2 or 3 days, and then he would go back to New York and go home. Diddy called Sean P. Diddy, whatever his name was during that time, called late Friday night, early Saturday morning, saying he's not going to London.
Gene Deal later confirmed this story and suggested that Diddy might have willingly sacrificed Biggie's life to protect his own interests.
You know Pac just got it ain't no kind of business Big was doing. Big couldn't even walk. He couldn't run. They was pushing him around in a wheelchair, brother. Why the hell would you rent studio time at LA for him to finish your album when in fact you got your own studio, Daddy's house?
Now, when it comes to Tupac Shakur, following the recent arrest of Diddy's former associate and Southside Crips member Keefe D for his involvement in Tupac's murder, explosive reports emerged claiming that Diddy put a $1 million bounty on both Tupac and Suge Knight's heads. LAPD detective Greg Kading revealed that an informant came forward as far back as 1997, claiming that Diddy was behind the orders for both hits, a claim that Keefe later seemed to corroborate. Now, some believe that Diddy's supposed announcement of $1 million bounty was just a tactic to escalate tensions and not a real hit order. Before the shooting, a heated altercation unfolded when Tupac and his crew confronted Keefe D's nephew Orlando Anderson after Orlando allegedly stole a death row chain from a fellow associate, Trevon Lane, and rumors circulated that Diddy was planning to use that stolen chain to provoke Suge Knight in a music video. While some sources suggest that Tupac's was simply the outcome of these conflicts, many remain unconvinced, believing instead that Diddy's offer to the Crips was a serious plan to eliminate his rivals. But despite the gravity of these allegations, Diddy has never faced an official investigation into his alleged involvement in Tupac and Biggie's deaths. After the tragic losses of the two rap legends, Diddy rebranded himself as Puff Daddy and worked hard to distance himself from the East Coast-West Coast drama. But in a creepy coincidence, almost exactly 8 years after the deadly stampede in 1991, Diddy found himself entangled in another shooting incident at a nightclub. This event led to multiple charges and a highly publicized trial. But once again, Diddy beat the odds. NYC shooting trial. The shooting incident took place on December 27, 1999 at Club New York in the heart of Times Square, where Diddy was celebrating with his then-girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez, and rapper Shine, who was signed to Bad Boy Records. At around 2:20 a.m., a seemingly minor altercation turned into full-blown chaos when Diddy accidentally knocked a drink from someone's hand, leading to a mocking response from a man named Matthew Allen, better known on the streets as Scar, who threw a stack of cash in Diddy's face. Things escalated quickly, and multiple witnesses claimed that shots rang out from Diddy's. The chaos left 3 people injured.
This is the famous footwear that told everyone which Rickenbacker twin was which. But no one could tell which pair was half off. You don't have to overspend to make it famous. Buy 1 pair of shoes, get 1 half off at your local Famous footwear store or famous.com.
Enjoy the show and save with the Flex Your Credits electricity plan from Alliant.
With one woman, Natanya Rubin, in the face. And while Diddy and J-Lo managed to slip away in his 1999 Lincoln Navigator, they were stopped by police after running a red light. When authorities searched the vehicle, they found a stolen 9mm handgun stashed in the trunk, leading to the arrests of both Diddy and Jennifer Lopez. J-Lo spent 14 hours behind bars, and this incident ultimately became the breaking point for her. She ended their relationship on Valentine's Day 2001 and never looked back. As for Diddy, he faced 4 charges related to weapons possession, along with allegations of bribing his driver to take the fall for the. Shine found himself in hot water, arrested and charged for his role in the incident. While Shine was convicted and sentenced to a decade behind bars, Diddy managed to avoid prison time, thanks in part to high-profile attorneys like Johnny Cochran and Benjamin Braffman.
Mr. Combs feels very confident. Mr. Combs is not guilty.
But reports emerged that Diddy threw Shine under the bus to save his own skin. Gene Deal claimed that Diddy even pressured witnesses to testify against Shine.
Y'all heard it from me, but Sean said it himself in his interview. You supposed to be my brother, and you got people testifying against me. Those people were testifying. They were brought to Puff first, saying that what they saw against Shine, what they saw Shine do.
After his release from prison, Shine made the decision to convert to Orthodox Judaism, which sparked an urban legend that Diddy was the devil incarnate. This theory emerged partly because several artists associated with Bad Boy seemed to find religion after their experiences with Diddy. Shine turned to Judaism, Mace became a pastor, Loon embraced Islam, and Craig Mack joined a controversial Christian cult. The shooting incident in 1999 served as a pivotal moment for Diddy, prompting him to change his stage name from Puff Daddy to P. Diddy. This rebranding was his way of trying to distance himself from the shadows of his criminal past. But this wasn't the last time he would feel the need to reinvent himself.
So we're going to stop it there, guys. I'll pick back up on part 2 of this tomorrow, but I must get my beauty sleep so I can be functional tomorrow. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to another episode of Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. Y'all have a good rest of your night. Bye.